I never expected a billionaire to scream at a child, but there he was, red-faced and trembling, pointing at a 9-year-old girl as if she committed a crime. She was holding his wallet with both hands. The wallet she found, the wallet she brought back. She didn't defend herself. She just stood there, tiny, shaking, eyes glistening, as though she was used to adults not believing her. But none of us knew then that the truth inside that wallet would rewrite his entire legacy and reveal a secret he spent 50 years trying to bury. Hello everyone. Before we begin today's video, we want to thank you for your support, love, and kindness. We wouldn't have come this far without you. Subscribing is one of the best ways you can help us. It's quick, free, and allows us to continue to bring you great content. Your support means everything. Let's keep this channel growing collectively. Where are you watching from? Drop your city and country in the comments below. Thank you very much. Now, let's get back to the story. My name is Daniel, and no matter how long I live, I will never forget the day I saw Clifford Harrow, the coldest and richest man in our entire state, lose his composure over a child barely tall enough to reach his waist. It happened on a windy Tuesday evening outside Harrow Estate, a mansion that stretched across the hills like a kingdom of glass. I wasn't supposed to be there. I was only the chauffeur assigned to deliver some documents. But fate had other plans. As I drove into the courtyard, I noticed a small figure at the gate, a girl wearing a faded yellow dress, holding something close to her chest. She looked frightened. Every few seconds, she'd step forward, then hesitate, then step back again. I rolled down my window. "Hey, you okay?" She looked up at me with the biggest brown eyes I'd ever seen. She was just 9 years old, maybe even younger. Her braids were neat but old, her shoes scuffed, and her backpack was missing a zipper. I found this," she whispered. She lifted it, a thick black leather wallet. Heavy, expensive. "I think it belongs to the man who lives here." My eyebrows shot up. Everyone in the city knew who lived there. "You're returning a billionaire's wallet?" I asked. She nodded shyly. "I don't want him to think I stole it. I just found it on the sidewalk. I didn't even open it." Her voice cracked on the last sentence, like she'd had to defend her honesty too many times in her short life. I smiled. "You're doing the right thing. Come with me." She clutched the wallet tighter and followed me past the iron gate. But as soon as we stepped into the courtyard, everything spiraled. The doors burst open. Clifford Harrow, 70 years old, silver hair swept back, cane in hand, stormed out with the fury of a man who'd lost a kingdom. "Who took it?" he roared. "Which one of you stole my wallet?" He didn't look fragile for a man his age. He looked powerful, intimidating, the kind of man used to being feared. His security guard scrambled behind him. I immediately stepped back, raising my hands. "She's returning it," I said quickly, but he didn't hear me. Or maybe he didn't want to hear me. His sharp blue eyes locked on the girl, and he marched straight toward her. His voice sliced through the courtyard. Where did you get that?" She froze. Her tiny fingers trembled around the wallet. I promise, sir, I didn't." "Don't lie to me." His shout echoed like thunder. The girl's lips quivered. Tears pooled in her eyes. I stepped forward. "Sir, she found it on the—" "Silence," he barked. Even the guards flinched. The billionaire snatched the wallet from her hands so hard she stumbled backward. "You expect me to believe a child like you simply found it? My wallet holds things more valuable than your entire life." The girl's chest rose and fell rapidly. She was fighting tears, fighting humiliation, fighting the instinct to run. But then her face slowly changed. Not anger, not fear, something deeper. Sadness. The type of sadness you don't learn at 9 years old unless life has already been unkind. "And still," she whispered softly, "I brought it back." Her voice was quiet, but it cut through everything. Even the old man blinked. For the first time, he paused. "Why?" he demanded. She wiped her eyes with the back of her hand. "Because it wasn't mine. That was it. Simple, honest, pure." And I swear, something in the billionaire's face cracked. A tiny fissure, a fracture in an old, cold wall. But it was what happened next that changed everything. As he opened the wallet to check its contents, a small photograph slipped out and fluttered to the ground. I bent down and picked it up. It was old, faded, edges worn. A little girl about 7 or 8, dark curly hair, smiling with missing teeth, standing next to a woman who looked tired but proud. But when I handed it to him, his hands shook, his face drained of all color. Where did you find this?" he whispered. The girl sniffed. "It was inside your wallet, sir." He lowered himself slowly onto a nearby stone bench. His cane clattered to the ground. That picture shouldn't be here," he muttered. I frowned. The girl looked confused. "Who are they?" I asked. He swallowed hard, his throat tight. "That child is my daughter." My breath caught. "Your daughter?" He nodded slowly. "My first child. The one I abandoned." The little girl gasped softly. The billionaire covered his face with both hands. I haven't seen that picture in 50 years. Suddenly, he wasn't intimidating. He wasn't powerful. He wasn't fearsome. He was broken. And the 9-year-old girl who returned his wallet, the tiny child he almost accused of theft, just stood there watching a grown man crumble. But then he lifted his head and stared at her, not angrily, not suspiciously, with curiosity, with fear, with recognition. "Child," he whispered, "what is your name?" She hesitated. "My name is Maya." His eyes widened. "Maya," he repeated slowly, as though the name hurt and healed him at the same time. He leaned forward. Where are your parents?" She lowered her head. "I don't know my father. And my mother, she passed away last year." Something inside the old man shattered completely, because at that moment, looking at Maya, he saw something. Something he recognized. Something he once lost. The gentle shape of her eyes. The curve of her cheek. Even the way she tilted her head when she spoke. She didn't just look familiar. She looked related. And then came the words that froze my entire body. "Maya," he whispered with trembling lips. "What was your mother's name?" She answered quietly. Her name was Elena. The old man's cane slipped from his grasp again. His entire world collapsed in that courtyard. And he said the words that would change the future forever. Elena was my daughter. Silence is a strange thing. In that moment, after billionaire Clifford Harrow whispered, "Elena was my daughter," silence fell over the courtyard like a heavy curtain. Security guards froze. The housekeeper covered her mouth. Even the wind seemed to stop moving. And little Maya, the 9-year-old girl holding her small backpack in trembling hands, just stared. "My mother," she whispered. You knew my mother?" The old man swallowed hard, his voice cracking in a way that didn't match his powerful reputation. "Knew her," he repeated. "She was my firstborn. My Elena, my little sunshine." His voice broke. "I lost her long before you were born." Maya's lips parted. "Lost her? How?" The billionaire pressed a hand to his forehead. It was shaking. "She ran away from home when she was young. We argued. I was too strict, too proud, and she left. I thought I had decades to repair things, but..." His voice trailed into a whisper. "I never found her again. I felt something twist inside me. Pain, regret, the kind that sits heavy on a man's soul." But Maya stepped forward, small, brave, innocent. "Sir," she whispered, "are you saying you're my grandfather?" The old man's eyes filled with tears instantly. Tears. From a billionaire known in the city as the Stone King. "Yes," he breathed. "If your mother was Elena Harrow, then you are my blood." The world spun for her. I saw it in her expression. Shock, confusion, a flicker of hope, all struggling together inside her tiny frame. But why didn't she ever tell me?" Maya asked softly. The old man clenched his jaw. "I don't know," he whispered, "but I intend to find out." He stood, slowly, leaning on his cane. His entire posture had changed from anger to trembling urgency. "Come with me," he said. "We have a lot to talk about." I wanted to step back, to let them handle whatever this was, but the billionaire turned to me. "You stay," he said quietly. "You witnessed everything." And I believe we may need you. I nodded, and together we stepped inside the mansion. The marble floors reflected the crystal chandeliers, and gold accents lined the walls. Everywhere you looked, it screamed wealth, but Maya didn't seem impressed. She kept her eyes low, clutching her backpack strap. Clifford gestured to a velvet chair. "Sit, child, please." She sat timidly. He lowered himself into a leather armchair across from her, struggling with the weight of his emotions. "I never thought—" He paused, steadied himself. "I never imagined my granddaughter would appear at my gate one day." Maya blinked slowly, her voice timid. "I didn't even know I had grandparents." He winced deeply. "What happened to Elena?" he asked softly. The little girl took a shaky breath. "She got very sick. I don't know what kind." She kept coughing, and she tried to work, but she couldn't. His throat tightened. "She worked? Doing what?" "She cleaned offices," Maya said. "Sometimes restaurants. Sometimes people's houses." She said she had to do everything alone. The billionaire's eyes burned with guilt. "I should have been there. I should have protected her." Maya looked up slowly. "She never said anything bad about you." Her voice softened. "She just said she wanted me to grow up kind and not angry." That hit him like a blow to the chest. He leaned back, overwhelmed. Before he could respond, a maid entered carrying a tray of tea. But the second she saw Maya, her eyes widened with discomfort. Something like disbelief, confusion, maybe even judgment. And she whispered to another staff member, "Why is that child in here?" Maya heard it. Her shoulders dropped immediately. Her eyes fell to the floor. I felt anger rise inside me. But surprisingly, Clifford Harrow spoke first, and his voice was ice. "That child," he said, staring directly at the maid, "is my granddaughter." The maid nearly dropped the tray. The entire room fell silent, and the billionaire continued. "From today on, she is to be treated with respect. More than respect, with dignity." Maya's eyes widened as she looked up at him. Nobody had ever defended her like that before. Not once. Despite the overwhelming emotion swirling around the room, Clifford Harrow was still a man of precision. "We need to know for certain," he said. "For Elena's sake and for yours." A doctor from the family's private medical team arrived within 20 minutes. Maya sat nervously as a cotton swab brushed the inside of her cheek. The billionaire submitted his own sample, hands trembling. The doctor left with both samples. But Clifford wasn't done. "While we wait," he said softly, "I want to know everything." And so she told him. She told him about living in a tiny single-room apartment with her mother, about nights with no electricity, days she went to school hungry, times she saw her mother faint from exhaustion, the hiding, the borrowing, the silent crying behind closed doors. With each word, the billionaire aged another year. When she finished, the room was quiet. He finally asked the question I had been dreading. "How did she die?" Maya wiped her eyes. "She just stopped breathing," she whispered. The neighbors called for help, but it was too late. The old man's hand shook violently. He closed his eyes. And for the first time since I'd known him, Clifford Harrow wept openly. 3 hours later, the doctor returned. His expression was unreadable. He handed the billionaire a sealed envelope. Clifford stared at it. His fingers trembled. "Maya," he whispered, "come sit beside me." She did. He opened the envelope. His eyes scanned the paper. And then a single tear fell onto the page. "Yes," he said hoarsely. "Yes, she's my granddaughter." Maya gasped softly. The billionaire pulled her into a gentle, trembling embrace. Not forced, not dramatic, just raw. Human, broken, healing. "You are family," he whispered. "You are all I have left of her." Maya pressed her forehead into his chest and cried silently. I turned away, giving them a moment, but Clifford wasn't finished speaking. He gently lifted Maya's face. "From today forward, your life changes. Everything changes." Maya blinked. "How?" He exhaled deeply. "You're coming home," he said. This mansion, my resources, my family name, they're yours now. All of it. Her eyes filled with disbelief. I don't understand. He touched her cheek softly. You returned my wallet expecting nothing. You showed me honesty when I expected betrayal. You opened a wound I've hidden for 50 years. You gave me back my daughter. Through you, his voice broke again. And I will spend the rest of my life making sure you never suffer again. Maya covered her mouth with her hands. But I'm just a girl from nowhere. Not anymore, he whispered. You are Maya Harrow, and your life is only beginning. But just when peace was beginning to bloom, a loud voice boomed from the entrance hall. What is the meaning of this? The billionaire's estranged son, Clifford's only surviving child, stood in the doorway, suit sharp, eyes cold. He stared at Maya with shock, then fury. Father, who is this child? Clifford rose slowly, leaning on his cane. This child, he said firmly, is your niece. The man scoffed. Niece? Don't be ridiculous. Clifford's voice turned into steel. She is Elena's daughter. The man froze. Elena? The disgrace? The runaway? Her. Maya flinched, and instantly, instinctively, Clifford stepped in front of her, protective, unwavering. She was not a disgrace, he said. She was my daughter, and this girl is her child. His son's jaw clamped tight. And what do you intend to do with her? Raise her, the billionaire said without hesitation. Love her. Give her everything she deserves. His son's eyes darkened. And what about the inheritance? The temperature in the room dropped 10 degrees. Clifford narrowed his eyes. Are you asking me or warning me? His son smirked. Both. The billionaire's cane scraped against a marble as he took a step forward. For years, he said quietly, I feared losing everything, my name, my legacy, my empire. Then he looked down at Maya with warmth. But today I finally understand what truly matters. His voice echoed through the hall. And I will not allow greed to harm this child. His son's expression twisted. This isn't over. He turned sharply and stormed out. But Maya's soft, trembling voice broke the heavy silence. Did I do something wrong? Clifford knelt, slowly, painfully, until he was eye level with her. No, Maya, he whispered. You did something very, very right. He hugged her close. You brought my heart back home. When I left the mansion that night, I looked back one last time. In the window, I saw a wealthy old man, once cold and untouchable, now sitting on a couch with a little girl curled beside him, her head on his shoulder, his hand gently resting on her back. Two souls who had lost everything and found family in each other. And I realized something powerful. Kindness travels farther than blood. Honesty can repair what pride destroys. And sometimes the smallest act, like returning a lost wallet, can restore an entire generation. Because the truth is simple. You never know whose life you're healing when you choose to do good.